to learn one of the biggest challenges of our academic life, math, how to make it into a joyful learning experience. Let me have this privilege to introduce Monica. Monica is a double master's in special education and technology-based teacher education of Lehigh University, Pennsylvania, USA. She is also the CEO of First in Math India Pvt. Limited. Monica is an expert in designing innovative math pedagogies for large school districts. Monica also has worked with the parent company of First in Math, which is called Suntex International, which is a US company, and she's worked there for the last 10 years. She formed First in Math India in the year 2014 after she saw the impact on her son. Today's topic, we've very carefully chosen today's topic, which is leveraging education technology to achieve school-wide math success. It doesn't talk about, having or making, few students successful. That the impact of First in Math is school-wide. Every child learns, grows, and is happy with First in Math. Thank you so much, Monica, for sparing your valuable time to address all of us. Over to you.
So this topic was chosen because all the schools we onboarded said, ma'am, we don't have time right now to sit and do deep implementation. Tell us quickly how to leverage the program. Okay, First in Math and its umbrella of solutions are all created by inventor Robert's son. He started in 1988. And so, since 32 years, we've done offline and online initiatives with over 2.5 crore students, classes 1 to 8. So, First in Math is a proven program, and it's very important that you find a proper organization that has vetted a program. So, we are privacy protection certified. You have to have a certification for children. Let's go with directly to the school-wide outcomes. What is a proven effective and efficient approach? Okay, school-wide. It's called blended learning and teaching. And the good news is you folks started with it once the lockdown happened in some capacity or the blended learning and teaching is a combination of classroom teaching, online digital teaching, cloud based teaching. You can connect everyone, you can connect one to one with a student. That is all that this is. This picture, the central and the core to it is meeting the student at where the student is and at the level the student is. Then these are the 4 areas you will leverage. So let's go with the first area we want to impact and leverage in technology. It's called online integration. See, learning math has 2 parts. The first part, which is comprehension, teaching, comes from our teachers. All conceptual understandings have come from our gurus. It's the second part. The second part, the actual application or the doing, has to be done by the student. It cannot be done by the teacher. And when the student does not practice enough, that is where you're going to see the problem and the struggle. What happens is, if you compare it to sports and music, you'll see where the struggle begins. In sports and music, if I'm learning basketball, my coach is going to teach me, hey, here's how you dribble the ball. That lesson won't last more than 5 minutes. After that, he's going to throw the ball in my hand and say, go, practice. And I'm going to continue to practice to dribble the ball. And that is very natural in sports and musical because they have physical skills. You have a sense of feedback. Mathematics is a mental skill. So when the teaching period that you look at, the golden bar, is my 40-minute class that I used to take and that teachers still take. Now, what's happening with the practice? The practice used to be a worksheet or a little packet that I would give them for the week. And each day they would do one section of that packet. But that is nothing compared to the 40 minutes. maths, the first issue with maths, besides that it's a mental skill, if you could not master your subtraction, your basic facts, you did not master your double digit with the the borrow and the regrouping, your division is going to be weak. Your fractions, you're going to struggle with addition of fractions if your multiplication wasn't strong enough to figure out your GCDs. So essentially, the spiral, it results in subtraction is the Achilles heel, causes issues with division, causes issues with fractions. And finally, when you have to come to algebra, unless those 6 foundational skills that you're looking at, fractions, decimals, integers, exponents, order of operations, unless all 6 can come together harmoniously, fluidly to solve the expression that you see there, that is what is the domino or the spiraling effect. This is the problem we are facing in maths. And it is why the struggle, the algebra gateway, is shut to a lot of kids. What is it that a person can just immerse themselves in? What is that state? And as it applies to mathematics, if you look at the x axis, it has skills, y axis is challenges. So essentially, to explain this, if I'm a 4th standard teacher and you look at the skills axis, I have students in my classroom sitting at so many different skill levels. There might be a child there who's at subtraction level. There might be a child there who's actually high achieving and has even understood division and says, ma'am, go ahead. I'm bored now. And that is a fact that can happen. So, in mathematics, for any teacher to make 7 or 6 different lesson plans to address all those learning levels is impossible. Now, how do you personalize using technology? Well, that is the job of the program itself. So, if the skill is a number line, the number line is a very it is actually one of the core indicators in mathematics. At the age of 5, research has shown that a child who has excellent number sense, which means knowing the concept between more, less, what's greater, what's smaller, relative, and relationship between numbers, that child will excel at maths. So the skill of a number line is nothing but more and less value wise. A program can start a child with whole numbers, but later on, the child must move along with their learning levels. So start somebody easy to build a sense of success. Just because they're in 4th standard, you don't have to start them with decimals number line. Soon enough, they are ready to move on to the decimals number line, then move on to the fractions, and finally, they're able to come to the algebra number line. Now, this is one area in algebra that people struggle with, where a lot of students think in the earlier time that -20 is less than -40. But students who have built that skill starting with whole numbers, it's not going to happen to them. You give a child content that is A, at their level, and B, a variety, you will see success. That is part of the complications with mathematics, is some children cannot do certain kind of mathematics. Another issue with math, this is the 4th one, is the scaffold issue. What is scaffold? Let's look at that. 7th standard, this is what I give my students. Let's say first in math, yes, we have an activity in 7th grade level that says, here's your expression. Which one of the 2 panels or boxes or grids gives you that expression? Is it the one to the left or the right? And what is the order of operations from those 3 choices below? So it's a very sophisticated multiple choice, very visual. As Dr. Mishra said, make it visual for me. However, here's my problem. I had several students in my class who could not do anything with 3 terms. This is a 3-term expression. For them, I could not have done a separate lesson plan. But that is the joy of any technology program that has come with inbuilt scaffolding and personalization. They will practice with 2 terms first. It can drop them down. And if they cannot even do this, drop down further and first practice your integers. But when it comes to teaching, the example that I just showed you about the addition, subtraction, division, and those bite sized activities is that mini lessons ensures that there's transfer of information from the working to long term. So keep the ratio of 1 minute to 2 minute mini lesson of a concept and lots of guided practice using multiple methodologies. That is the sum of what you just saw up until. In fact, one of the best practices I like is please don't ask students for answers. I prefer that when the first time I give my students something, I tell them, here's a worksheet. Can you just represent what the question is saying visually? The teachers can actually look at this on their phone because this is so accessible from a phone, and they sit and they choose what do they want to do next week in the class, and then they select whatever the problems are. And so let's say the problem was geometry for 6th standard or 5th standard. This is a problem that comes up. Our teachers are using the drawing tools to draw on this and talk through the problem. So when you talk through the problem, your need to write is reduced, and it's getting interesting. You can actually give a wrong answer, and suddenly perpendicular lines definition has come up as a hint. So and lessons become very interesting when teachers do a lot of these problems together with their students. And our ongoing positive behavior support systems are targeted to bring your whole community together. So, assuming that even if the working memory is holding it for 20 minutes, it must transfer within that time period the information to the long term memory in order for retention to occur. And what is the goal of mathematics? Ultimately, you want to retain it. He's saying there are children who perform nicely in the class, but during exams, they make small mistakes that don't. Excellent question, sir. Mr. Ashish, you are absolutely right. You will see a big change in the students who do first and math for 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day. The reason is when you don't practice enough. In the class, what's happening? You're doing a few problems. In the exam, problem can be anything. It won't be the exact same one that was done. That means you need lots of practice. No matter what question is thrown at you, you should be able to pick it up. So, practice should be also in a certain format. So, we have a certain format of practice where if a student makes a mistake, they have to start again. Let me just give you that. If I can pull it up. Okay, here. One simple example for you. Actually, this is practically all of first in math. Thank you, Ms. Kalpana, for such a sweet thing to say. She says, thank you for your valuable time. To answer Mr. Ashish's question, here we are. Okay, let's say fractions. And I'm practicing division. And I'm practicing by 2/3, okay, where the answer should be 2 upon 3. I mean, the answer is given, but I'm dividing by 2/3. Now, I have two choices. It's a visual multiple choice. Is it half divided by 2/3 is 9, or is it 6 divided by 2/3? Now, if I click on this choice, I was correct. My strength meter went up, but look how the seconds are ticking. What if in the next one, I make one mistake? This is first in math. You are practicing. Practicing is about checking. Checking is about being careful. So this teachers teach. They give us conceptual understanding. They give us so much of depth of knowledge. They give us a personal connection. but practice has to be rigorous, and this is how our children should be trained.
Thank you.
I have Mr. Sandeep Mishra, who works
Okay.
for one of our schools in Sultanpur in UP, and he
Uh-huh.
has been a user of First in Math. I would also want all the principals and teachers
Oh,
to hear from one principal as to what the experience is. Sandeep sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to you all.
good
First of
evening.
all, thank you, Manka ma'am, for a very interactive and informative session. And yes, I do have a personal experience with this First in Math platform, and I have a very good experience with this platform.
Thank you.
As I am a father of a son, my son is 7 years old. And a few months back, I realized that my son is not that comfortable with mathematics.
Uh-huh.
Although he having a very logical and reasonable mind, still he was unable to cope up with the curriculum. And then after a few months, we have started using First in Math platform in our school.
Uh-huh.
And by using that platform, he got the courage, his fear was removed, and his performance improved over the time. So I would like to take a couple of minutes just to emphasize the importance of the platform First in Math. First of all, ma'am, for me,
Hanji.
education have two very important aspects.
Mm-hmm.
One must bring the joy of learning.
Yes.
Second, it must give you the ability to solve the problems. So as far as the joy of learning is concerned, it comes from curiosity. And as all of us know, that child are born curious. But
Yes.
somehow down the line during our schooling process, we kill that curiosity. Just a fear of being judged by the teacher or by the students. Sometimes the students have the fear to ask the question or explore the new ideas.
Uh-huh.
But what this platform does, it provides us a very perfect scenario for our child because he can explore as per his own pace. He can solve the problems without the fear of being judged by the teacher or by the peers.